Hello, welcome to EdotGdot and Friends. My name is Elden Killian, and today we will be presenting a pot of golden brown pie crust. Every game ranked monthly for March 2021. As always, this is me ranking every game that I played in the previous month, in this case March 2021. This month's list includes 28 games, 10 of which are new to me, and a handful of which I have not played in a very long time. And since I've been keeping track of stats, but I know I've played them in the past, so I'm not going to call them new to me. But some oldies reappearing. But this month I decided to. I usually have in the past I've had it in a 4 kind of tiers. This month I decided to go with 3 tiers and try to be just a little less negative in my life. But we're going to call this just a fine field of clover. Because in all honesty, I enjoy games quite a bit. And, there are a couple games here I do not love by any stretch of the imagination. Being too negative is never that fun. Well, sometimes it is, but that's where we're at today. But anyway, let's get on with the list. This is tier 1, just a fine field of clover, just a regular 3-leaf clover, if you wish. And so first game is going to be Play 9. This is, back in the old days, we used to play this with just a deck of cards. We called it Golf. This published version, slightly different than the rules I grew up playing with. Also very similar to games like Creeps of Keister Island, Rat-a-tat-cat, if you've played those, in which you start off with a bunch of cards face down. You can draw a card or flip over a card on your turn, and you're trying to get the lowest score. In this version, matching cards... so your cards are in an array. They're like a 2x3 array. So if the cards on top of each other match, they zero out. If you can get a block of 4 cards the same, you get some negative points. There's also some 0-point cards and some negative 5-point cards. And you just keep going around until someone shows up. Once somebody shows all of their cards, everybody gets one last turn. I don't know. This is... as a game, I just really don't find this game charming or appealing in any way. But it's a good time. You sit and you talk with your family, your friends. Play this with my mom and some siblings, and I don't know. Play 9. It is what it is. This is the first time I've played this version of it. Number 27 out of 28 this month is going to be Llama. I play this game quite a bit. I actually, this past month, I had maybe the most exciting game of Llama. If you know the game, you play a number of rounds. The game is over once somebody has 40 or more points. Lowest score wins. I was on the brink. I got all the way to 39 points. And then I was able to fight back and end up winning the game. It wasn't even close. It was like 39, and I was playing my daughter. She had like 5 points. But I was able to battle back, won a handful of hands. She had a couple of rounds that did not go her way, and ended up winning, which is, it can happen. But that one's pretty exciting. But I just find this game just a little too much luck for my tastes, and But I have a couple of kids who just really, really enjoy it, so I end up playing it quite a bit. Anyway, that's Llama, number 27 out of 28 this month. Connect 4. I haven't played Connect 4 in a really, really long time. Technically, according to my stat app, it says this was a new to me game. So I haven't played it since, or recorded anyway, since I started recording stats a long time ago. Obviously I've played Connect 4 in my life, and but one of my daughters, she We're at my mom's house, and she pulled it out, Connect 4, and she challenged everybody, and I whooped on her a few times. And I don't know. It, for a quick game, it's better than tic-tac-toe, I guess, is the positive you can come out of it. And I enjoyed it more than Llama, even though Llama had that great, exciting game. But I don't know. I feel like this is like, and again, this is like one of those foundational games that I think every kid has to play a little bit. It gives them just a quick dose of like strategic and tactical, I guess more tactical thought. But there's a strategy there, and you're trying to outthink your opponent. And low stakes, quick game. You can play it. She probably played it like 30 times that day. But yeah. Anyway, Connect 4, number 26 out of 28 this month. Number 25, Exit, the Sunken Treasure. This is technically a new to me game. If you know anything about the Exit series, these are games that you can only play one time, realistically, especially with a copy, because you end up having to cut things up, and there's probably some things you could do to make it replayable if you wanted to pass it along, but I don't know, it's kind of a one and done. And I kind of bought this on a whim. I had played another one of the Exit games. We actually never even finished it, but this is way back when they first came out at BGG Spring. Super late at night, we started playing it, and our brains just weren't in it, and so we cut it short. But I didn't love it, and so I've been very reluctant to go back into it. I was at Barnes & Noble, and it was $15. I don't know, I'd heard some podcasts recently who were kind of talking up Exit and some of these other unlock type games, which are basically like exit rooms in game form. So this one has a story where you're looking for sunken treasure, and you're diving, and so you're trying to find everything. I found some of the puzzles interesting, and some of them I figured out pretty quickly, and which was kind of the funnest part, was when I was like there was like 3 puzzles right in a row. I was like, okay, I see what I'm supposed to do. I figured it out pretty fast. Felt really good about that. There's other ones that just, I couldn't see the puzzle. I was doing this by myself, and maybe if I was with someone else, maybe they would have seen it, but I couldn't see the puzzle. There was one, and the most frustrating thing is that they have like these clues. So for every puzzle, there's like 3 clues you can get. The first one is pretty vague. The second one's a little more vague. Third one kind of just tells you the answer. So you're trying not to get there, but you lose points the more of those cards you use. And just like one of them in particular, I picked up right away what they wanted me to do, and there was sort of this physical component to it, and so I spent all the time doing that physical part. I had it. I had what was there. I couldn't see. They were looking for a number code, and I just couldn't see it. I couldn't make my brain see what they wanted to see. So I checked the clue. I was like, okay, the clue was exactly what I thought it was. I was like, okay, so I'm on the right track. So I'm staring at it some more, messing around, moving it slightly, trying to figure out what it's all about. That goes on for a little while. I was like, fine, I'll look at the second clue. Look at the second clue. Didn't tell me anything that I hadn't already figured out. And I'm not seeing the numbers, what they're trying to do, and the order they're trying to do them in. And it was so frustrating when I had to just give up and get that clue. And it was dumb, and I should have been able to figure it out, and it was frustrating. But there's probably like 4 puzzles in there similar to that, where I felt like I was on the right track, and the clues confirmed that I was on the right track, and just whatever. At the very end, there was a little logic puzzle that man, I read that. I'm not great with logic. The Sue is next to Billy, and Billy is next to a red dragon, whatever. And I'm not super great at those, but I read that 1,000 times. I thought I had it down, and I didn't. I couldn't get in the right order, which kind of cascaded down the whole thing. Anyway, I just got more and more frustrated with these. I don't know if I will get another Exit game. This is maybe the only time Inca and Marcus Brand have just kind of let me down. And I know these are super popular, and people love them, and they get lots of praise, and I see where people would enjoy them. For whatever reason, give me 5 more years, maybe I'll try another one, and maybe I'll have a better experience. I don't know. Anyway, number 25, Exit the Sunken Treasure. Those are my words for that. 24, the game of Things. This is a game I haven't played in a super long time, and I've had a copy forever. One of my favorite party games. And or it used to be. I love this game, and it's not so much the game that I love. The funniness and whatever that happens was all great. Anyway, we had a couple of friends over, and so we were doing this, and there were some kids involved, and they'd come in and out. People kind of walked in and out of the game, and we had a good time. You're trying to guess who said the funny thing and who said what in response to the prompt, and it's a good time. But in the end, the gaminess of the game part of it, which is what I'm going to focus on here. Don't even keep score, and I didn't keep score in this game, but and so but it's a good party game. If you're looking for something to do, you have a group of 8-10 people, and there's probably a sweet spot, and this can handle quite a few people. You kind of want to have more than like 3 or 4 people. You want to have 8 to 10. I have played this with a larger group, and if you get too big though, then it's just a lot of waiting around, because you can get each round if you get picked right away, you're out, and you're just kind of sitting there and watching, which is kind of fun, but you don't get to participate. And anyway, the game of things, number 24 of 28. 23, Medium. This is I've been bringing this one out, and I played this at the same party, and we did this one a little less structured. We weren't so much worried about points, and we were kind of having multiple games within the game going on at the same time, like people who were across the table from each other, or the floor. Actually, we weren't playing at the table. Kind of did their thing while the other side was doing their thing, and it's just fun. It's like 1, 2, 3. Try to say the word, and match the next person. Medium, number 23 out of 28 this month. This has a little bit of love from BGG. 7.1. That's the average. It's not the geek rating, but that's the average rating. And so it seems like people tend to like it. And the last one in this section is Abandon All Artichokes. This is a new to me game. I've known about this game, as slightly interested in it. But I did an interesting thing a month or so ago on Board Game Geek, where I had asked people for some suggestions, and I offered to buy them a game, the game that they suggested to me, if I chose to buy it. And this is one of it. One, it was cheap. 2, I was kind of interested in the person who suggested it, brought up some good points, and so I tried it. I've played this a couple times now. This will never be like a favorite game of mine, and it's not terrible. I feel like it might be just a teensy bit unfair, in that in the 2 times I played, it's a race, and the person who the start player won both times, in a close game where it looks like other people were going to be very close, and that kind of rubs me the wrong way. And I don't know why. But it is very interesting. You're trying to pick up cards, and you win by not having any artichokes in your hand when you draw your new hand. And so you're trying to get rid of your artichokes, but you're also trying to get cards that are going to help you better than others. And anyway, it's very interesting. I think this was designed by Emma Larkins. I think that's right. Who does the Ludology podcast with Gil Hova these days. And it's interesting. Interesting game. And but I'm putting in my lowest tier this month. I will probably play this again and give it another go, but I do have a little bit of concerns. It plays quick. It's a good family game, lightweight, It's not the heaviest thing. Bust it out in 10-15 minutes. Anyway, Abandon All Artichokes, number 22 this month. Oh, I was wrong. We got another game in this series. That's Codenames Harry Potter. As you might know, I really, really love Codenames. I really, really love Codenames Duet. It's my favorite way to play it. Harry Potter, maybe not the biggest Harry Potter fan in the entire world, but I'm a fan. I read all the books, watched all the movies, read all the books multiple times. First time I read the books, it was right before the 5th book came out, and we had a set of the first 4 books in paperback. And my oldest son, who was 7 at the time, maybe, we decided we're gonna start reading this book to him at night before we went to bed. And we'd gotten like 2 or 3 chapters in, and I can't remember. I had something that had to happen, and I missed bedtime. So they read the chapter without me, and so I got home. I was like, I'm gonna read that chapter and catch up. And I finished book 1 that night. Read book 2 the next day, got into book 3 the day after that, and the day after that I read book 4, all 800 pages of it, whatever it is. And as soon as book 5 came out, I was actually super poor at the time, didn't have any money, but my niece had bought it, and so after she finished it, I stole her copy and read book 5. And then when book 6 and 7 came out, I was in line, midnight release, I was there. And so I really, really enjoy Harry Potter. And I really, really like Codenames Duet. And I've almost bought this a whole bunch of times. And the thing that I was worried about and why I didn't buy it earlier was this is a picture-based one. I have Codenames Disney, and it's my least favorite version of Codenames. Even though it just plays like regular Codenames, there's something about even Codenames Pictures, which has more abstract pictures, I find fairly fun. But those movie stills or whatever, it leads to boring clue giving, I think. And this has the exact same problem. And maybe it'd be more fun if I used it on the word side. And I need to play this again. I've only played it on pictures only side. And I think that's my takeaway here is I don't like Codenames with these pictures that don't have, because the fun to me in Codenames is trying to make connections in interesting ways, and I feel like the pictures make it less interesting. That's my takeaway right now. I am gonna commit myself to play this game a few more times, but that's where I'm feeling right now. So lowest tier, right on the edge though. All right, so like I said, let's go into our next tier. Next tier, four-leaf clover, lucky. So I feel lucky to have played these games, I guess. But let's go on. Anyway, number 20 this month is the game Quick and Easy. I played this last month, but I brought this out again. The one thing that's interesting is that you can play this game a whole bunch of times real fast, because you can lose quick. And I'm getting to the point where I've played this enough times. I think I'm pretty confident in saying I don't like it as much as the game. And I feel like I have won it, and I feel like winning it is pretty high function of just luck of the draw. Although, yeah, you got to be smart. You got to listen to your teammates in order to do that well. But man, you get 2 cards, and you can play 1 or 2 of them, and it's just too easy to get 2 cards you can't play. Or you're forced to play a card that makes things really bad, and then the next person can't play. Yeah, maybe I'll play this some more. But it feels just a touch too lucky. Like I feel like in the game, the game, are you ready to play? You can do some clever things. You can hold out. You can count some cards. And you can't do that in this one. And I think that's what's dropping this down. But I still enjoyed the experience. And if I need a game that can play in less than 10 minutes, this is in the running. Number 19, Roland Wright, the dice game. Technically is the subtitle there. This is a roll and write game where the die has color dots, and you are sharing these colored dry erase markers, and you're trying to fill out your board. And what you're really trying to do is you are trying to make the shape on these cards that are going to score you points and or give you some special abilities. I love the idea of this game. It is hard and it hurts my brain. And I played with somebody who I felt like it didn't hurt their brain, and they were just running through and they were seeing something I wasn't seeing. And that's not to peg on it, but I've played this a couple times, and it's kind of long for a roll and write game. I felt the box says something, but it felt like every time I played it was twice that long, and it's just hard. But interesting. The puzzles are interesting. Trying to find something that can synergize together is maybe a little lucky. Getting cards that will synergize, but yeah, I don't know. So anyway, you roll the dice, you make groups of colors from the dice, and then the active player picks one set of dice that nobody else can use, but everybody else can do the same thing if they want. And then everybody's allowed to erase a dot, and depending on what color of dot they erase, they get a special power. And they don't have to erase a dot if they don't want to, but they get a special power. And you're just trying to fulfill these shapes and color combinations on these cards. The biggest downfall, I think, of this is I feel like the graphic design of the cards could have been done differently and better. They're super cute, but I feel like there's some usability issues, especially the ones that have printed words on it. Like that box needs to be bigger. The text needs to be bigger and a little more clear, I think. And but I don't know, it works. Yeah, I can see myself playing this again. I felt like it was a good game, but 19 out of 28 this month. That's where it lands. Roland Wright. Number 18, Blossoms. So I bought two games. I have one called Blossom, one called Blossoms. And I heard about both of them about the same time, and they both were interesting to me. Blossom is a Roland Wright from Game Right that comes in that magnet top box that like Rolling America and Quicks and some other ones come in, and it was okay. I don't know if I loved it. Blossom, this one though, let's talk about the game we're talking about. This is a card game where it has a push your luck element where you are drawing cards off the top, and then you can place cards if you don't bust, which is draw a type of flower that is not currently in a pot, or can't be put in a pot, or I might be misstating that, but anyway, that push your luck element is fun. And there's this little puzzle where you can take some special powers, and you try to work that out to your advantage where it's going to help you. And anyway, so you're adding these cards to these flower pots, and then you're cutting them and keeping them, and the bigger the sets you get, the more points you get, and you're trying to outscore your opponent. 2-player only game. I really enjoyed it. Definitely would play it some more, and I think it's only 18 because I didn't play it more. So maybe if I played it more, maybe it would lose some shine. But maybe if I played it more, I would start to see some more strategy. I'd start to see really get it. It is tight. It's a quick game. Really good 2-player game. But I'm gonna play it some more. Does not have love on BGG. 6.1 rating. 6,000. I feel like it's a better game than that. And maybe it doesn't have enough votes, doesn't have the distribution. But I don't know. I felt like there was more there than some other games I've played. Anyway, Blossoms, number 18. Number 17, Air, Land, and Sea. Another 2-player game. This one's war themed, and what you're trying to do is you have the 3 theaters of war, land, air, and sea, and you are trying to play cards in each of these 3 and try to win 2 of the 3. Sort of like Battle Line almost, or sort of like Battle Line, but more compact. So you only have the 3 theaters. You're trying to win 2 of them. One interesting aspect of the game is you can give up. You can withdraw from the fight. And the earlier you do it, the fewer points you give your opponent. And so if you look at your cards, you're like, I can't see me pulling this off. I'll just give up. Your opponent gets 1 or 2 points or whatever. And it's first to 12. I want to say 12, maybe 10. 12. It's first to 12. But if you go all the way to the end and then you lose, your opponent gets 6 points. So I only got to play this once, and I lost 0 to 12. I took it to the end both times and got edged out both times. And so I was, the first time my opponent did something really smart. I didn't know the deck of cards. I didn't know it was possible. I felt like I had a really strong hand, and I think I did. But he was able to pull off some pretty cool stuff at the very end, and bravo to him. The second one, I looked at my cards. I was like, I don't think I can do this. But then as I played a couple cards, I was like, oh, I have an opening here. I think I can pull this off, and then I didn't. And so I took it all the way to the end. We played 2 hands. I lost 12-0. But yeah, I don't know if I like this better than Blossoms, really. 17, 18. And if I would have thought about this tomorrow, maybe I'd change my mind. But they're definitely different. They're both quick 2-player games. And I feel like I need to play this one. I need to play both of those games some more. And I feel like I should have some opportunities to do that. Anyway, number 17, Air, Land, and Sea. Silver and Gold. This is not a new to me game. This is a Roland Wright, flipping right. So you're flipping over these, what do they call them? Tetronimo pieces that you need to draw on. Because that would be 4. Anyway, polyomino pieces, and you're putting them on these dry erase cards. So the cards have a finish on that you can use dry erase marker on. And when you complete the card, you score it, then you get another one. And there's some special abilities. There's some race for points. There are some situational points you can come up with, and there's some little bonuses you can link together. Good game. I really like it. Definitely. Well, it's gonna come out again sometime in the future. It's a good game. Anyway, Silver and Gold. Number 15, Luxor. This was a Spiel des Jahres nominee. I played this multiple times at BGG Spring when it was on the Spiel des Jahres table. The first time I played it, I really enjoyed it. Second time, I really enjoyed it. I had a kind of bad experience with like my 3rd and 4th play. I ended up getting my own copy. I played it a few times, and it's an interesting game. I had played this month with some guys that we usually play heavier games, but we had an hour, and so I was looking for an hour-long game. I hadn't played this one for a while, pulled it out, and they both really enjoyed it. At least they said so to my face. But yeah, Luxor, number 15 for this month. This has an interesting thing where the card, you have a hand of 5 cards. You play 1 card off of either one of the ends, so you have 2 options, and then you draw a new card, or you get a new card as part of your turn, and that goes in the middle of your hand. And so the way that you play your cards is kind of dictating your future turns as well. And that planning is interesting. As you're trying to move these guys into the pyramid, you're trying to get on tiles to score them. You're trying to get sets. There's a race to the middle to get more points. Anyway, really good game. Luxor, number 15. out of 28 this month. And to the midpoint. Ooh, did I mess up this? I did. So it should be 14. So 14 out of 28 this month is Valley of the Kings. This is I got the new premium edition, or not new, it's been out for a little while, but I got the premium edition on sale at a friendly local game store, and I had played the non-premium edition several times with a friend a few years ago, and I really enjoyed it, and so I had some good memories. And I've gotten this to table once on this copy, and I haven't I played the exact same version I played before, even though it comes with has a bunch of expansion stuff. I haven't brought those out, so I've just played the base game basically. Is the only experience I have with the game. The cool thing about this game is these cards, they have two purposes. You want to entomb them sometime during the game, which is basically like trashing them or pulling them out of the game forever, basically, in order to score them. Or, as it's in your hand, they have these pretty powerful abilities. And the more powerful the ability is, the more valuable they are as you entomb them. So this balance of, these cards. And then you're trying to get enough money to buy more cards and entomb cards, and you're just trying to play that out. And you play out till all the cards have been drafted out of the pyramid, and you count them up, and you win. I think I've lost every time I play this game, and it's always because I forget how to win. I forget the end goal. I get too engrossed in the cards and the special powers, and I don't entomb the right things or the right sets to get more points. And maybe one day I'll play this and figure it out and remember that as I'm playing. But one thing I noticed about the game this time, as I was thinking about it, and I wish all of the powers are all text based. And so I have a friend who I think would like the game, but he hates reading cards. And there are some repeat cards, but there's a lot of different cards, and so learning them all would take a long time. And so I don't know if I would bring this game out with him, and I think that's kind of a downfall. I feel like there's no icons, there's nothing you have to be able to read the cards, and then you have this option of 6 cards out there to get on your turn, and you kind of got to read them all to figure out what they are, and you have all these special abilities in your hands, so you got to be reading those all the time. And if you're the type of player who doesn't want to read all the cards, you're not going to have a good time. And I feel like even me, so I need to play this more often so I know those cards, and so I get that ingrained in my brain a little bit, because it's a lot of, okay, what does the card do? What does that card do? Am I really making the best decision here? Because I'm not taking the time to read everything and internalize it all the time. Anyway, number 14, Valley of the Kings this month. 13, another new to me game, Viscounts of the West Kingdom. This gets a lot of love on BG. It's currently ranked 240 and has an 8.1 average rating. This is the third in a series of the West Kingdom games, and the second trilogy kind of in this universe. So it was Raiders of the North Sea, and then this West Kingdom series, which includes Architects, Paladins, and Viscounts. I played it once. I definitely want to play it again. My gut is it's a good game. I think I like Architects and Paladins a little better than this one. But again, I need to play this one again. It was interesting. I felt like it ended really quick. And, I think the way the players play can dictate the pacing of the game. But I felt like it ended before I was able really to get going. So, yeah, I feel like I need to play this one again. But I did enjoy it. It definitely has a good bone, good structures, good... it's a good design. I'm not sure if I love it yet, but I do want to play it again. Anyway, Viscounts of the West Kingdom. Good game. Number 12, Oh Hanami. This is, a lot of people say it's like the game, which is a cooperative game. But this is it's the game, kind of, but it's competitive. What it really is it's a pretty simple card drafting game. There are 3 kinds of cards, right? 3 cards. Blue card. Oh, 4 cards. 4 types of cards. There's the one type of card that scores every round. There's one that scores in the last 2 rounds. One card that scores in the last round, and one type of card that scores at the very end, in sort of a pyramid series of sorts. And so if you get a really big set of pink cards at the very end of the game, you get lots of points. And other than that, it's just a drafting game. So you're passing your hand of cards, you're taking 2, and you're putting them on your gardens. And you can have, I think it's 3 gardens, but the numbers have to go ascending, descending. And so you can only build off of the ends of your garden. And so if you start one garden really high, then you can only kind of be going down. And if you start one really low, you can only really be going up. If you start one in the middle, you kind of have options, but then those middling cards, I don't know. I found it really interesting. Both times I went with the strategy where I tried to get all those big end game cards, and it's tight because you can get quite a few cards, like 10, 12 cards or whatever, and you get some okay points, but you're definitely going to lose. And then those last kind of 3-4 cards you get really ramp your score up pretty high, where you're competitive. And I feel like the first time I tried that, I think fell just a little bit short, lost. And the second time I was able to pull it off and win. But yeah, I enjoy quick drafting games generally. This is a good one. The scoring's super simple. The strategies are pretty straightforward. You just want to keep yourself with options, keep options open as long as possible, and get the color cards that are going to work for you. I don't know if this would hold up to me playing it 100 times, but so far, enjoying it quite a bit, really. And that's Oh Hanami, number 12 this month. And my top tier games. I'm saying 11 of the 28 games I played are the top tier. And we're going to call this section a little slice of 3.14 a la mode. One of my favorite non-holiday holidays of the year as Pi Day, 314. And anyway, so that's the inspiration for this section. But without further ado, number 11 is My City. This is a game I've been playing with my son. This will be on my list one more month. We just finished it yesterday. It's April officially when I'm making this video, and we finished it in April, so this will be in my video next month as well. But yeah, just really, really good. I really liked the progression of the entire 24 game series. I do feel like in the 2 players, I played the whole thing 2-player with my son, and I think there was some ambiguity that I'm not 100% sure we did, sort of the end game stuff. I mean, we were consistent in it, so I think it all worked out. But like when you play with multiple players, like first place gets a reward, second place gets a reward, and then other players get a different reward that kind of balances them out for the next game. And I felt like in the 2-player, we were kind of missing out on that stuff, that we would have changed our board a little bit going forward all the time. But yeah, just the little things that it added, the wrinkles that it adds into the game, I felt were really interesting, really good, really basic, easy game. You're flipping a card and you're placing these polyominoes according to the rules of the game, which shift slightly. Some different goals come up during the game, some different structures and patterns that you're trying to hit happen in the game. But yeah, really interesting. I wish a couple of just little minor criticisms. I feel in the rule book, rules changed, and sometimes they change like for a few games, and then they would go away with that rule. And as you're trying to remember, especially because we didn't play it all like in one sitting or even like really quickly, we dragged this out over several months, and we kind of forget. It's like, oh, were we allowed to do that? You know, and it wasn't easy to find. You'd have to go back to the chapter and try to remember what chapter it was that did that, and then see whether they kept that rule or whether that rule got abolished at some point. Yeah, it's interesting. Technically, you could keep playing the game after the series is over. I don't really see myself doing that. I think it was an interesting experience. But 24 plays is a fair number of plays of any game, really, and that's what I got out of this. And maybe I'll bring it out. There's like another side to the board where you can just play like a basic game. But yeah, My City. If you like a short type of game that you can have a legacy aspect of that's not super rules heavy, this is a good choice. Anyway, My City, number 11 of 28 this month. Number 10, Diamonds. So I remember when this game came out, and I remember it being it sounded interesting. And then a few years ago, I found a copy at a thrift store. So I snatched it up, and it's been on my shelf ever since. And I'm not 100% sure why it hasn't come out and gotten played, because I definitely have family members who I think would really like this game. But it just never came out. Anyway, my sister was in town visiting over her family spring break, and her and her husband, they in fact, if you want to see my sister, we did a video about Azul. You can find that on my channel somewhere else. But anyway, we're sitting there, and her husband has this weird relationship with games. He generally has a good time. He definitely does not like a lot of heavier rules. And so I brought this one out, and I really, really liked it. So like, it's called Diamonds, and it's sort of like in the vein of, it's a trick taking game in the vein of like Hearts or Spades, and then Diamonds. And so, but the cool thing about this game is there's this, if you win a trick, you get a special power of that suit. Or if you can figure out how to play that suit, so you have to follow suit if you can, but if you can play a card out of suit, because you've got yourself short suited, you get that power also. And so, like, it takes the rules of trick taking. It's a super straightforward trick taking game. There's no trump. It's just this twist on if you win with a suit. And so it's not only just winning tricks, but it's like the order in which you win tricks. It's making sure that you have something that you can use that ability for. Getting short suited so you can play your diamonds out of suit, so you can just bank all those diamonds. Man, I really, really enjoyed it. Mike Fitzgerald designed this. Mike Fitzgerald, I don't know. It's a simple, easy game, and is genius. And I'll play this game many more times in the future. I feel foolish for having not played it sooner. Anyway, Diamonds. There is a second edition, and I don't know what the revision is. I have the older edition. Apparently they revised something, made it better. I think the cards look better from the pictures I've seen. And that's maybe my only criticism of the game, is I felt like the graphic design was But anyway, Diamonds. Great game. Number 10 this month. Number 9, Seven Wonders Duel. I played this one online a couple times and in person. I don't count online plays for reasons. Just a decision I made a long time ago. But I played this one in person, and I've played it online this last month. And yeah, this one's loved on BGG. Ranked number 17. It's got 8.1 rating. I don't know if I love it that much, but it's definitely just a super solid design. Really good game. It's an interesting 2-player draft, where it has like this pyramid where some cards are seen, some cards are not. It does it really well. the multiple different win conditions where you just kind of have to balance your play and you have to keep an eye on what your opponent is doing. It just builds it creates a really tight, really interesting decision-making space, and kind of this tactical push and pull. I've seen games end at all the different win conditions. I've seen it go to points. I've seen it military. I've seen it go science. Anyway, good game. Great game. Seven Wonders Duel, number 9 this month. Number 8, Azul Stained Glass of Century. I pulled this one out a couple times in preparation for the other video where I talk about games I've played 20 times. And we were talking about Azul, but we talked about this one and Summer Pavilion as well. And this is the prettiest Azul game of the trilogy. That I think the pieces in there are just really pretty. The translucent colored pieces. But I haven't played it a ton. But every time I play it, I kind of start noticing new things about the game, and it's interesting. I think I'm liking this one more and more in comparison to the whole trilogy. Each play is a little more interesting. I still haven't tried. There's 2 different ways to score at the end. I still haven't tried the other way. Maybe someday I'll play it. Anyway, number 8, Azul Stained Glass of Century. I'm getting a little long-winded, and I need to wrap this up. But anyway, really good game. If you like Azul and you haven't tried this one, try to find it. Number 7, The Crew: The Quest for Planet 9. Man, it just I don't know. I've played this every month the last few months, and it just continues to be really good and really fun, and I enjoy it. Is all there is to really say about this. Anyway, The Crew: The Quest for Planet 9, great trick-taking game, cooperative trick-taking game. That wrinkle means everything to this game. Number 6, Rajas of the Ganges. I played a couple times. I finally won in a nail biter. And it was a little hollow though. My opponent didn't calculate correctly what I was able to do, and was afraid that I was going to be able to overtake them, which I was not going to be able to. And so extend the game one more turn, which allowed me to set myself up to have a huge turn that did let me overtake him by just the slimmest of margins. This is an interesting little race game. The math of the scoring track is interesting. The push-pull kind of race to get the different buildings. I don't know. It's just interesting. It's not difficult. Ink and Marcus Brand, some of my favorite designers. This is just a really, really good game. I think it's starting to get that love on BGG that it really does deserve, and we'll see. Anyway, like the one thing about this game is like for the level of thought process I have to put into it, the rule set is pretty simple, really. You know, pretty basic. It's not really dice placement. You're placing a worker and using the die as the modifier, and what you can do and making some decisions that way. But it's just interesting how you can find little combos that kind of work together and are just fun. It's just so fun to find them. Anyway, number 6, Rajas of the Ganges. My number 6 game this month. This next game, number 5, Tawantinsuyu. I had it on my shelf for a long time. Last month I got to play it, and I was a little down on it. After my first play, I really felt like it was needlessly complicated. Like the mental load that I had to front load. So like Rajas of the Ganges, sort of the other thing is like the mental load going in is like pretty simple what you're doing. Tawantinsuyu, there are just layers upon layers of stuff that you gotta keep track of. It's got all these little mini game almost type things that are happening with different rule sets, and you just gotta remember all this stuff. And that first play, I felt like there was too much stuff in my brain going I couldn't see the game, and it just felt complicated. And I could see that there was something there, but it was so hard to get at. And like compared to like Tekhenu, Zolkin, those games, Teotihuacan, it felt like it was not developed as well, and not as streamlined. So I played it again. It started to click just a little bit, but still not. I still felt like there's still so much information. And then I played it a third time, and everything was just more simple. Everything just made more sense. And, if I don't play this game for 5 years, I try to pull it out again, I'm probably going to go back to stage 1, where there's just so many things to remember. But that third play I really, really enjoyed it. Like maybe one of my favorite gaming feelings in the last few, number 5 this month, but it felt like a good special game. It felt worthy of being in that T line of those other great games that I love. And we'll see if I bring this out again. It is I've taught it to a couple of people, so I have some different options, so I don't have to teach. I am a little afraid to teach this to more people. It's a big teach, and the more I start to understand the game, then I feel like I'm at an unfair advantage with these new players. But I have a couple people I've taught the game to, and maybe I'll try a 3-player game and see how that feels. I haven't tried that yet. But anyway, Tawantinsuyu is just jumping up the charts for me, and maybe some more plays. Maybe that one play was a flash in the pan, but I could see this even creeping up and being a more favorite game. Anyway, Tawantinsuyu, number 5 this month. And number 4, Praga Caput Regni. Spoiler, this I believe, pretty sure is my highest new to me game. Vladimir Suki, he just makes games I enjoy and like. This one's all about Prague, or Prague, however you pronounce it, that city in Eastern Europe. But you're building the city in all the different ways. You're building the road and the bridge and the university and the wall and the city. And you do this all in 16 turns, or 17 or 18 if you get some bonus turns. And here is the criticism I'll give the game. I feel like that time track, especially in the 2-player version and the solo play, which is how I've played it so far, is confusing. This was the last game I played in April as well, or in March. And you go around so many times, but I don't know. I felt it confusing. I still find it confusing. How many times you go around that thing, especially in a 2-player, because like partway through one you have to remember to change out all the buildings. Anyway, but this has like that great thing of what you do on your turn is actually fairly simple, and you really only have a handful of real options or best options, and like trying to figure out how to string those together into a coherent thing that's going to score you points is fun and is a great puzzle. I know Underwater Cities gets a lot of love. I think I like this one a little better than Underwater Cities. But yeah, really, really good game. I look forward to playing this one some more. Anyway, Praga Caput Regni, number 4 of 28 this month. And these last 3 will go quick. These are games I talk about all the time because they're some of my all-time favorites. Number 3, Santiago. I got whooped this last game, and I still had tons of fun. Just one of my all-time favorite games, Santiago. I've talked about it before. I won't go on too long about it today. But man, I just really like the bidding in this. I like the play. The math in it is straightforward, but also not in ways. You just gotta be smart about how you do things. Anyway, number 3, Santiago. Number 2, and this kind of shot Yokohama. I really love Yokohama. I got to play it again this month, and it was just really fun. It was a really fun game for me. We played 3-player, which I haven't done in a little while, and yeah, just the puzzle, trying to figure out how you're going to do things, the race to get the bonuses, trying to edge out other people in the different areas to get those end game points. And yeah, just a really good worker allocation and puzzle. It does like this spatial thing really well, where you're trying to plan for the future, keep your options open, playing some tactical defense and offense, and scrambling when people ruin your plans. And just trying to march along and keep it going until you have the best game. But anyway, number 2, Yokohama, fantastic game. And my number 1 this month, which I new to me. I got to play with the expansion Ascension and Corruption, or Corruption Ascension, whatever it is. And I play this one 2-player. The vast majority of my plays of this game have been solo, but I had the expansion, had somebody over. And we whipped it out 2-player, and really a good game. I really liked what the expansion did. The different the types of cards, and like that corruption thing where it's like it kind of ruins other aspects of your game, but giving you a boost somewhere else, or a cheaper card to give you a bunch of stuff, but it kind of eats at something in the future. Really interesting concept. Some of the point scoring cards, they come with these ones that for like getting pairs of types of cards, you get some points. Those are really interesting, really added to the game. Great card drafting game, one of my all-time favorites, and my number 1 game of this month. It's a Wonderful World. Anyway, that is this for this month. Hit like and subscribe, all those things. Give me a comment if you enjoyed something, if you played a game or something was interesting. Let me know, and see you guys in the future. I don't know. I need to come up with a tagline.
Where? I'm making a YouTube video, Bevs.